Go ahead.
I saw the upper part of a marble statue, one that exists actually. I think it's called David by Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an entirely appropriate statue, but I just saw the upper part of it. I initially I'd actually seen very close up on his eye, and inside his eye there was actually glistening, so there was depth into his eye. It wasn't just the marble.
Sculpture.
And from a distance, when it's glistening, especially in a widened pupil, even of an animal, you can see it's almost like a distorted picture. So like it's just a mixture of even different colors of light. In this case, it was like a deep gray. When I was really close in on his eye, though, I could see like a whole other, a completely different world inside of his eye. And it was like, kind of like a winter land of sorts, because there was lots of snow and evergreen trees inside of his eye. I was looking into his right eye, I remember that. And then when it zoomed out again, the bust of the statue, so everything from like top part of his chest up to his head, just fell off, like very promptly fell off into the floor. And what was left of the statue seemed very much like pastels. The only substance I can think of. It was powdery but solid at the same time. And I don't know if this has any significance either, but the color, the hue of the gray changed to like a very light grayish blue. But I almost had the impression that the head having fallen off and the irregularity of the surface of the statue now, especially where the head had fallen off, gave way to substance that could be taken from the statue in order to be used for something else. And it seemed a little too obvious for Leire that being pastel would probably be used for some artistic purpose, but I think that might have been the case, and the reason I'm not exactly sure.
What does pastel mean?
She might be able to explain
It's
that.
it's more of a color palette, isn't it?
Color
It's a type of paint.
of paint.
Oh,
Okay.
it is. It's a type of paint as well. What's the difference?
Oh, I might be using the wrong word then, because I'm talking about what were you? So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pastels, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Understanding?
No, I was looking for some confirmation on just something that I was hearing, which was really just two short phrases. The first was deep places, and then the second was new pages. So, I mean, I think that's obvious enough. The deep places is where God does His most transformational work in our life, and where He sees what no one else sees. The inner thoughts, the inner motives and attitudes and motivations of the heart and desires of the heart. And so it's in those deep places that He conforms us to Himself. The other I don't think is so separate from that, but I think it's more seasonally purposed. You know, new pages are pages that have not been written on before. My impression is that neither are they influenced from the past. So the former things having been done away with or moving on from the former things. I think that, the Apostle Paul never forgot his former life. He took it into account, and it had some value. But in comparison with what he was moving on to, it had very little value. So, Paul was a righteous man in many ways, but he counted that portion of his life as worthless in comparison to his new understanding of what God had ahead of him and his people. So I think there's a correlation there for your life, not necessarily from Paul's apostolic assignment so much as a new page on which maybe those new things can be written or drawn upon. Not every story's in words, so not every experience is described through writing. But nonetheless, I think that's not as, maybe there are some practical applications there, but I think most of it is more about a renewing of your mind. So first in the deeps, and then in, the new pages of life are, what's ahead of us. So I didn't see anything written on the pages, but I think that's the place the Lord wants to bring you to. So my only impression there that seems to have some maybe sharpness and clarity to it is that it's moving on. There's a moving on from the past. And so what was before won't find a place in the new pages. And my other impression is that that's not a regrettable thing.
Yes.
It's going to be a really wonderful thing. So.
It's what you've been praying for, really. The renewal of your thinking and stuff like that, and your understanding. So,
I think most of the statues and busts and those kinds of glamorizations of heroes and saints and those things like that were kind of more of the Greco-Roman ideal of how to encapsulate or idolize an idea that represented a person or a person's accomplishments, things like that. So the head life in particular, to see that taken away is also not super surprising, because that's the very kind of thinking that God doesn't need and actually is not very useful to him. So I think that was obviously the case with Paul as well. He came to that realization that what he had in his mind was not of a lot of value to God, but it didn't mean that God didn't want to do something with him. So
definitely.
I think if I might add a slight interpretation or general interpretation in line with what you're saying, is that what was originally like a monumental accomplishment, which was that statue, became like the substance or means of further things to be done. So after the head fell off, it was made evident that it was like a apostolic substance. It's no longer seen as this achievement with no greater purpose than its existence as a it became a tool for a further purpose. And it didn't have the value that it used to have in being a statue. Now it's like just kind of substance to use for another project.
It can be on a blank page.
Yeah.
True.
It's all
Yeah.
coming together.
Come together. What about you? You have any thoughts yourself? It's your life, man.
So wonderful.
Just.
We all hear
Mhm.
not through your words,
Mm.
Leire, the unspoken cry of your heart.
Mm.
That's not hidden. I think it's definitely not hidden to the Lord.
Yes.
It's not hidden to us either.
Yes.
So
He will
it's hard to
answer.
minister to
Mm.
something that doesn't come out in words with
Mhm.
words. But you know, we're very aware of it,
Mm.
and we present it to God
Mm.
with an equal
Mm.
desire
Mm.
that He will meet that He will meet that desire. with you.
Amen.
So,
Amen. Mm. Mm.
That one additional word is just willingness.
Mm.
He sees your willingness.
Mm.
He's going to honor that. He's going to do that.
Yes, yes, it's true. Bless you, sister.
I saw something too.
Here we go.
Yeah,
You're on record.
okay. I'm on record. So I just saw a picture of you in a garden, like you know the scene from Lord of the Rings where Arwen and Aragorn, thank you. Arwen and Aragorn are meeting together in the garden, and the lighting is just perfect and all hazy and stuff like that. And you were meeting there with God, and you were looking upwards towards Him, and like I could see that you were happy. And then I saw like water pour down on you, but like a sheet of water, and it slowly like moved down and purified as it was going and stuff. So that was it.
That was it?
That's a pretty easy one to
Mm.
understand. I guess there's no
Yes.
hidden deep meaning, but
Mm. All right. Nice.
Ready.
Oh, you ready? Okay. Wait. As it turned out. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's my turn.
Yeah.
I was patiently.
Okay.